Okay, we're going to do a quicker video this week because I'm talking about less stocks and I'm extremely focused on what my plan is going to be, and I don't have to rehash what 8 stocks that I'm out of most of their positions are doing. So without further ado, I don't want this to go too long because I want to get better at this. This is one of the reasons why I do this, along with it's a good log for me on what I've been doing week in, week out, and it's proof to me. I can go back to last week's video to see how things panned out. Without further ado, let's keep going. First stock I'm going to be talking about, and we talk about a lot here, is High Tide, HITIF. That's High Tide. That's the cannabis stock. And what I found interesting, TIF, is they came out with their earnings. They were positive, very positive, the way that I saw they were going to be. The channel that I watch, Alex M., he gave a lot of great information, so I would actually just encourage for you to go to his channel and watch all the High Tide stuff on there, because otherwise I'm just going to be rehashing everything he said, and I don't want to do that. I actually want to use my resources, and he's one of my best resources for due diligence and just helping me focus on what I need to learn about. So this week, I mean, really, this stock did not move from the beginning of this week. It started around 67 cents and it ended right underneath 67 cents, regardless of the all the positive news that came out. I mean, it went as low as 64 cents-ish or so and went as high as 73. As a shareholder and somebody who watches really, really close, am I concerned? I'm actually not, because this is a long-term position, so I can be a whole lot more calm about it. I do kind of wonder why the share price, the share price isn't continuously going up with all these great, moves and that they're doing in acquisitions. But I'm hanging in there. Not a big deal to me, and I do expect just the consistency of this company to work out in the long run. So I'm going to leave it at that. Next up that I'm going to talk a little bit more about is 88 Energy Limited, which is EEENF. I did bring this up last week, and I did invest in this a little bit above 3 cents. And then as it started to run, I put more money into it because I was like, okay, this is pretty awesome how this is working out like this. At the beginning of the week, it was sitting right above 3 cents. On Wednesday, it jumped as much to 7.5 cents, actually 7.54. Topeka, woo! Only a couple of you guys actually understand what I mean by that. That was actually my boat, the submarine I was stationed on. It was SSN 754, so that number is very special to me. And then at the end of the week, it ended right underneath 6 cents. So pretty much just about doubled. If I got in really, really early, doubled my money. There's a couple little inflections. I tried to be too cute with it. My price per share is actually a little bit more than 4 cents, but I'm still above 25% gain, even jumping in and out, trying to be, too cute day trader stuff. But then I also increased my position as well. So that run on Wednesday, I just watched my numbers like, so I was like pretty happy about that. Now, what am I doing? I can go back and wonder what I should have done, because I can see the chart, but nobody knows until it actually happens. Should I have taken some of my money out? Should I have expected a drop off because right before the holidays and all the day trader stuff that seems like it always happens? I'm gonna learn from this. Do I expect for this thing to run like MDMP? Because that's kind of like my example. When they found oil down in Texas, this thing ran from like 2 cents to 94 cents. If this thing went to 94 cents, I would probably run down Broad Street screaming with my, I would say, hair on fire, but I don't have any. So I would just be ridiculously happy. They're supposed to come out with news either today, tomorrow, Tuesday. This stock trades on the Australian Stock Exchange, also in London. I don't know if they're going to wait for them to be ready to trade before they pop out news, or because they're seeing how much oil that they have, and then can they use it for production and get out a certain amount, and either, they're in exploration, do they sell these rights to a bigger company and make a lot of money? Potentially. I'm wondering if I should have taken out part of my position. Well, I didn't. I'm letting it ride, and I'm waiting for the announcement of their results for wire logging, which is just to see how much oil that they have, and if it's positive results, this thing could go to 10, 20 cents, I believe. A lot of people talking about going to the moon, getting to $1, getting to $6, getting to all this other stuff. I'm not personally going to get caught up into that. I'm really going to be happy with like 10, 20 cents. And if it goes there, I'll be very, very happy. Get out of position, potentially, unless it shoots way too high, and then I'll just be sitting by the computer and just waiting. And then when it starts dipping, okay, so. But we'll see. Or they can have negative results and the stock price can go through the floor, and I can actually end up in a loss after I'm up a lot right now. So we're only going to see. So I'm in hold for right now, but this is something I brought up last video, and it went from, like I said, right over like 3.25 cents or so, shot up all the way up to about 7.5 cents, and then for the end of the week up 6. So that's a pretty substantial return for the week. And if you got into it, you made a good amount of money, and I hope my video has helped 15 people or so that saw it last week potentially make some money. Last one I'm going to talk about a little bit, but not too much, is this company called Viper Networks. Now I'm watching this for a couple of different reasons. I still don't really understand how the market's moving, and people get really excited for short periods of time, and that's the time to really make the money when you're day trading, swing trading. And then if you believe in a company like I do with like High Tide, you hold on to it for a longer period of time and they just consistently do well, and over a long period of time it works out. Now with Viper, which is VPER, their status has changed on essentially like their credibility, because they're now current with their filings, and so it's still an OTC stocks. Actually all three of these are OTC. I really love OTC stocks. And they went from last week, Tuesday, they were like 1.5 cents or so, and they went all the way up to right underneath 2.5 cents. Now you're talking pennies, right? But if you take 1.5 to 2.5, that's a very significant margin. What do they do in the first place anyway? They make street lamps. Sounds exciting, right? Well, no, kinda. These street lamps, LED, which is good, but also have Wi-Fi in them. They control their dimness depending on if people are around. They can put out announcements. They can do potential car charging. And even in California, they can measure the air quality. So there's a couple different things. They have other products, but there's a couple different things that our cities here in the United States can use this for. And I believe they were part of a contract in Chicago, and they're starting to gain some traction and put their products out to different cities and also across the world. Does that warrant the stock price? Really, this is my play for the week. I expect to put a substantial position into this company and let all the announcements that they said that they're going to make this week to get people excited for what the future might hold. In my opinion, I look at this the same thing as like electric vehicles. This stuff is not going to happen overnight. It's like actually the next 5, 10, 15 years, right? But people are going to get very excited for a short period of time, like trading ADD. It's going to shoot the stock price a certain amount, and then a person like me is going to get out of the position before it comes back down to earth, and then has to ride out and see if this company will be stable over the long term. Most aren't, but I want to financially benefit off of the idea, especially since, like I said, they're going to put out a lot of information this week because their credibility is better, because they got current within the reporting for the OTC market. So they're sitting at 0.023 right now. Would I like to try to get in at a discount? Yes. But even if it goes to 0.025, I would still make a good amount of money doing this. So what I'm going to do this week is I'm going to put a position in here and then see what happens. And if it gets to the margin that I'm looking for, I'm going to sell out of it. And if it continues to do well, I'll hold for a little bit, but I want to be out before the end of the week. So this is my day/swing trade of the week, Viper Networks. And those are the 3 stocks. I'm going to keep this as short as I can. Three stocks: High Tide, EEENF, and Viper Networks, VPER, and see how we do this week. Thanks for tuning in. If you do, give it a like if you can, and I'll look forward to doing this update next week and seeing how these stocks do and what we do in the future. Have a great day.